Hello class, I'm happy to welcome you to the test review for our last test number 4 video on YouTube, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to go over the PowerPoint review file, which you can find on Canvas. So go to your class on Canvas. From your class menu, click on modules right here and scroll down to test for module right here, test for module. And guys, right here is the PowerPoint file review. I already opened it. And here is a link to my YouTube video that you're watching right now. So I already opened this PowerPoint file, so let me go right there. Here we go. So the format of this test is exactly the same as the first 3 tests. It's not, I even do not call this test a final test because it's not comprehensive. It just covers the last 3 chapters, chapters 10, 11, and 13. We did not cover chapter 12, which will be covered in Business 1B Managerial Accounting when you take it next semester. If you pass this class, I hope you do. So guys, the test will be open on Sunday at 12:01 a.m. and will be closed on Monday 11:55 p.m. So you have 2 full days to complete the test. It has 155 points, including 5 extra points. And guys, your test consists of 8 multiple choice questions per chapter. There are 3 chapters, so you have 24 multiple choice questions. Each question is worth 2 points. There's no partial credit. You either get it correctly or do not get it. So for the total of 48 points. And then guys, about 107 points, then right here, come from 10 problems at various points for the 3 chapters. I always recommend that even though this test is open book, you take your time studying, review this video on YouTube, and then prepare one cheat sheet, just like one-sided sheet, and write down everything you need to remember, especially things you don't know, you're confused about, for chapter 10, chapter 11, and then a separate page for chapter 13. It will really help you to have it in front of yourselves when you're taking the test. So the test will be one sitting, right? It will be only 3 hours. You cannot save and exit. If you get locked out, please contact me immediately. Every student has a different set of problems and questions. You cannot print or copy the test, and you will be able to see your score right away. It's transferred from Connect to Canvas within 20-25 minutes, but you cannot see the feedback until the deadline for everybody to prevent cheating. After the deadline, which is Monday, 11:56 p.m., you can go back to the link for the test on Canvas, and you can click on that link, go to Connect, see your answers and correct answers. Please do it quickly because I will keep the test, the Canvas open only for a few more days after you finish with the test. So on Monday, you're done with the test. On Tuesday, I will finalize your final percentages and grades. I will post them on Canvas. I will email you to check those out. It's not a negotiation point. When I post final grades, that's it. That's the final, there's nothing back and forth. I do not give you grades. I simply record your performance based on percentages, clearly describe grades and criteria from your syllabus, and then I give you, I record your grades. I don't give them based on the percentages you earned. Okay, so I will do it on Tuesday, and then probably by Thursday of the same week, I will close your access to Canvas. So for the problems, you will have 3 problems from chapter 10 on long-term liabilities. You will have to journalize issuing bonds at par, at a discount, and at a premium. And you will also need to calculate and journalize interest payments, debit, bond interest expense, credit cash, if it's at par, and then figure out discount and premium, what you debit, what you credit, and how you approach it, how you amortize it over the life of the bond. And then you will have to prepare a short amortization table, straight line amortization. We did not cover effective interest amortization, just the straight line amortization for either discount or premium on bonds payable. So you have a discount and a premium balance, and then every interest payment you decrease it, and at the maturity, by the maturity date, either your discount or premium should be zero. And you also calculate the related carrying value of a bond. So a carrying value of the bond for discount is the par value of the bond minus the discount. The carrying value of the bond issued at a premium would be the par value plus the premium. At the end of the life, at the maturity, your carrying value for the bond must be equal to par value because there is no longer discount or premium. You amortize them. You expense them out. You amortize them. Now, in Chapter 11, I will ask you to journalize issuing stocks for par, no par, or stated value stocks. You will need to calculate dividends for common stock versus preferred stockholders. And please remember that we have to give dividends to preferred stockholders even if we owe them, if they are in so-called arrears. So you have to first completely fulfill your dividend obligations to preferred stockholders before you can pay any dividends to common stockholders. And it's one of the reasons why preferred stock is called preferred, because they have a preference in getting dividends over common stockholders. I will ask you to make journal entries similar to your homework for treasury stock, how to journalize the purchases of treasury stock. And again, I want to remind you, treasury stock is stock, our shares that we as a company buy back. So it's a negative amount at the stockholders' equity. Treasury stock is a contra equity account, plus minus. And then later, we often take this treasury stock and sell it back to the market at cost, above cost, which is preferential, or below cost, and you will have to make those journal entries also. I will also ask you to calculate earnings per shares, dividend yield, and the price to earnings ratio. In Chapter 13, I will only ask you to complete one problem, common size income statement. So if anything is not here, it means you will have a fair chance to get a multiple choice questions on other concepts. And so you can see the concepts for Chapter 10 right here. You've got your types of bonds, secured, unsecured, serial, callable, convertible. We talked about advantages and disadvantages of the bonds, 3 types of bonds at issuance, carrying value of the bond, differences between the stated or contract rate, what's stated on the bond, and that's how you pay the interest to your bondholders, versus the market rate that fluctuates. I introduced 2 new accounts. The discount on bonds payable is a contra liability, so it has the opposite signs, plus minus. Premium on bonds payable is classified as so-called adjunct liabilities. Its signs are the same as the signs for the main liability account, minus plus, normal credit balance. We talked about amortization, and then guys, we talked about mortgages or long-term installment notes and how you calculate your cash payment, which is the same equal payment every period, and then proportion of that payment that goes towards interest expense versus principal, which is debit to notes payable. You had one ratio called debt to equity ratio. Now, everything I'm talking about here is covered in my videos on YouTube. So if you didn't have a chance to watch them, in every chapter I have 1 to 3 videos. Please watch them. They're really good for your learning material, reviewing the material, and they follow what you need to know from the textbook and from PowerPoint slides. In Chapter 11, we talked about stockholders' equity. We covered the structure of corporations, advantages and disadvantages of corporations compared to other forms of business entities. I talked about the process of incorporation, and we listed 5 rights that common stockholders have. Guys, you need to know the differences between authorized shares, issued shares, and outstanding shares. We talked about par value stock, versus non-par value stock. And guys, we described that the equity consists of two components, PIC or paid-in capital, under which you have multiple accounts. You have common stock, preferred stock, paid-in capital in excess of par value, treasury stock, which is a contra account. And then you have retained earnings or earned capital. So that's one account, which is net income or earnings minus dividends. So you need to understand the relationship. This is assets or money, so other assets coming into the business from investors, and then the business uses those assets to earn profit and retains the part of profit after paying dividends, if they pay dividends. A lot of businesses do not. We talked about cash dividends. There are 3 dates and corresponding 2 journal entries, because one of the dates does not require a journal entry. We also covered stock dividend. We talked about cumulative versus non-cumulative preferred stock. Most of the preferred stock is cumulative, so we have to pay dividends that we owe to those preferred stockholders, even if it's later on. And guys, we listed reasons why companies issue preferred stock. We focused a lot on treasury stock, reasons why companies buy back their own stock, and journal transactions. You looked at the statements of retained earnings and stockholders' equity, and then there were 4 ratios at the end of this chapter. The last chapter, chapter 13, financial statement analysis. These are all different terms here. We talked about liquidity, efficiency, solvency and profitability, and market prospects. These are 4 interrelated but independent components of the financial statement analysis. I gave you standards for comparisons and 3 methods or 3 tools. Horizontal analysis, which results in comparative financial statements and related percent change and trend analysis. The second method is vertical analysis, which results in so-called common size financial statements. And the third tool is ratio analysis. So here is working capital. You have a formula in the book. And also these are the ratios. There are more ratios, but these are the ratios you really need to know. You have all the formulas as a summary at the end of chapter 13. Watch my video. I have 2 parts of videos with great examples on YouTube. It's really good. Students really appreciate it. And don't worry about memorizing the formulas. Have them in front of yourself, so write them down on your cheat sheet. Worry about how to calculate those and what do they mean. Do you want that ratio to be higher or lower, and what's the standard? So good luck on the test. I hope you all do well and you finish the class strong. Take care.